Hello and welcome to Talking Points. As one Arab regime topples after another, the question for many is who will take their place. For much of the Western world, the view has been that democracy in the Arab world came with the risk of bringing Muslim extremists to power. It's a perception that was constantly pushed by many autocratic regimes in order to justify their survival. But these uprisings have been driven by the newly dubbed post-Islamist generation. So does the Islamist threat still exist, or is it being overstated? Joining me to discuss this today is Gardner, a professor of international relations and politics at the American University of Paris, and Ramin, an Iranian writer and dissident. Thanks to both of you to be here. Hall, let me start with you. So, where are the Islamist parties in all of these uprisings?
Okay. Fortunately, I think for the most part, they're in the background. I'm going to qualify that in a second, but if you look at first Tunisia and then Egypt, the Nada party in Tunisia was very low profile, said practically nothing, and the same thing for the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. It wasn't on the front lines of the demonstrations. On the other hand, I think the Iranians in particular tried to show that these demonstrations were pro-Muslim, bringing Muslim groups into power. And the Nada party has returned to Tunisia. The Muslim Brotherhood is going to enter probably at least the reformist party will be entering into the Egyptian. But the point is that these parties, for the most part, have lost their influence from their heydays of the most oppressive times. So in the case of Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood was losing its support since the November 2010 elections. And the only way I think they can gain some support is if the situation gets out of hand and they begin to take advantage of an economic crisis or something to that effect. On the other hand, though, as I said, the Iranians are in the background. They're going to be pushing Hamas. They're going to be pushing Hezbollah, saying that more Islamic. And I'd also watch out for al-Qaeda, which might enter into the Egyptian question and actually go after moderate Muslim Brotherhood members who they say are not radical enough. So I don't think they're totally out of the picture, is my argument.
Ramin, do you think the threat has been overstated?
No. I mean, quite frankly, I don't think that we are overstating the threat because we should be careful about it. We should be careful about what is going to happen next in these countries simply because of what we have seen in contemporary history since 40, 50 years ago, particularly in Iran. I don't think we have seen any, in the post-colonial area, the so-called post-colonial area, I don't think we have seen any Arab revolt or revolution giving birth to democracy, neither in Egypt, nor in Libya, nor in Syria, nor in Iraq, or anywhere else. I don't think that necessarily a revolution is a prelude to democracy. Revolution can bring about things radically different from democracies. I don't think that elections are necessarily means free and open societies. That's what we saw in 1991 in Algeria. FIS won. Le Front Islamique du Salut won the elections. That's what we saw in the Gaza Strip under the supervision of international monitors led by Jimmy Carter. Hamas won. We saw it with the Hezbollah in Lebanon. So we have to be extremely careful because whatever is going to happen south of the Mediterranean, the political sea, as Tocqueville will call it, it is going to affect us directly.
Yeah.